How y'all doing? I hope everybody's doing well today. Thank you for joining me. So today starts our first part in our five-part series about grief and loss. Okay, so we're just gonna just jump right in. And as this being our first topic is because this is what a lot of us are going through right now, right? This is what a lot of us have been dealing with so far. Okay, so, again, this is the first part of our five-part series called Coping with Grief and Loss. Okay, guys, so let's jump right into it. Okay, so just let me give you guys a little bit of background about myself. I'm a licensed master social worker. I've been working in the field for over 10 years. As a social worker, as a therapist, I've worked with various populations from children with disabilities, with IEPs. I've worked with families, foster care system, school counseling, case management, and I've also worked with emotionally disturbed youth, right? So I've dabbled in various settings as well as a social worker. Okay, so first let's do our icebreaker. Okay, and you're probably wondering how is this going to happen? Well, you guys, that's what the comment section is for. So definitely comment and let me know what your response is to the icebreaker. Okay, so the first question for the icebreaker is: if money was not an issue, what would you do for a living? Right? So really think about that. If money was not an issue whatsoever, what would you do for a living? Okay, so you guys think about that and write that in the comments. I cannot wait to check it out and see what you guys came up with. Okay, and then another icebreaker, a second one, which is very interesting. It talks about a glow and a grow. So basically, what that means is you're going to tell me one thing that you need to grow in, right? So some things that you might need improvement in, right? With just a little more focus. And then you're going to tell me a glow. So a glow is any positive experience or thing that you're proud of. Whatever you're willing to share in the comment section. Again, remember, this is a family. This is an interactive channel. And so definitely want to hear you guys' input. Okay. All right, guys. So understanding grief and loss. This is the first step to being then able to learn coping skills and being able to function, right, at an appropriate level each day, right, without falling apart to the point that you're unable to go through the day. Okay, understanding is important. At times we give that not a lot of value, but understanding in any aspect is very important. Okay, so first I want to share with you guys this quote that I felt that was just so powerful um, and so amazing in that it's able to connect you so that you can build or start creating and building that understanding of what grief and loss actually is. Okay, so I'm going to read the quote to you guys. Okay, so take a listen. It's by Megan Devine. All right, and it goes like this: there are losses that rearrange the world, deaths that change the way you see everything, grief that tears down everything, pain that transports you to an entirely different universe, even while everyone else thinks nothing has really changed. Okay, I'm gonna read it to you guys one more time and really think about what it's saying, right? And how it speaks to you. Okay. There are losses that rearrange the world, deaths that change the way you see everything, grief that tears everything down, pain that transports you to an entirely different universe, even while everyone else thinks nothing has really changed. Okay, and I'm not going to comment much on this, but I want you to really think about this quote and how it made you feel, what you were thinking, what it made you think about, okay, and how it speaks to you. And again, please put in the comment section how you felt about that quote and what it made you think of, okay? Um, And I'd like to thank you ahead of time for sharing that. I know it must have took a lot, right, to be able to share um, how deep this quote went for you. Okay. So now let's talk about what grief is. Okay. There's many definitions going around, but let's hone into grief and the different parts and its meaning. Okay. So, grief is the emotion people feel when they experience a loss. There are many different types of loss, and not all of them are related to death, right? That's an important piece to take away from the definition of grief, because at times we connect it to death only, but grief can occur in many, many, many different types of losses. Okay. So, for example, a person can also grieve over the breakup of an intimate relationship or after a parent moves away from home, right? And so, grief is a natural reaction to the loss of someone important to you or the loss of something important to you. Okay. Grief is also the name for the healing process that a person goes through after they have experienced the loss or the death of a close one. Right. The grieving process takes time, and the healing usually happens gradually. Right. And this is an important piece and definition of grief because at times others try to define for us what grief is and how long it takes and when you should be done grieving. But knowing that it takes time and knowing that that time is different for each and every one of us, right? Some people might grieve for a month, some people 6 months, some people 3 years, right? 10 years. So the time that it takes for us to grieve is different for each and every one of us. So that's an important piece and definition of grief that we definitely need to keep in mind. Okay, guys? Um, so very, very important. And then just to go a little bit deeper on the different types of losses that I mentioned, let's talk about a few, right? So we know the main one is death, right? We lost a family member, a pet, a spouse, a child. But again, grief can occur from losses such as relationships. You lost your home, right? You lost your job. You lost your friendship. You lost personal items that are sentimental to you. The loss of your health, right? You have a serious illness, or you have a loved one with serious illness. The loss of your health, finances. You went through a divorce, graduation from school, loss of physical activity, right? So these describe types of losses that may cause us to then go through a grieving process, right? But if we're not aware that grief is more than just death, right? We'll be going through the grieving process in an unhealthy way and either fighting ourselves or wondering what is going on with us, what is wrong with us, not realizing that we are grieving, right? We have went through a loss that hurts us in some way. And then we have to go through this grieving process then to be able to face it, deal with it, and learn to cope with it. And then be able to move on in a way where we're functioning at our highest level and healthiest level, right? So those are the types of losses. So that's it for today. That's it for right now in our first part series of coping grief and loss. Okay. So just to recap, guys, we spoke about the definition of grief. We spoke about how loss is more than just death, right? And we spoke about various types of losses. Okay. And we also mentioned an important quote that is deep, that it speaks to us in a way. And I cannot wait to see you guys, what you comment on that part and how you felt it, what it reminded you with, or what, how deep it got within you. And just think about the losses that you've been through. And think about if you actually went through a grieving process for them, or if you did, but didn't realize that you were grieving. And so I was wondering what was going on. or you're currently in this path, you're currently grieving a loss, and you just feel like you need guidance or you need support. And that's what this channel is all about. So definitely, guys, subscribe, like, comment in the comment section, and press the bell so that you're alerted each time a video comes on live. Thank you for joining me, and you guys have a wonderful day. And remember, self-care is important. Thank you.